and strengthening climate adaptation for vulnerable communities. I want to commend the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in the fight against galamsey. It has so entered the fabric of our people that it's not been an easy fight. Communities have mobilized to attack, the task force when they have gone to enforce the ban on illegal mining. And so I'll encourage the task force, the Minister, the Environmental Protection Agency, all of those involved in the fight against illegal mining, please don't give up. There are some positive results beginning to show. Madam Chairperson, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're strengthening domestic revenue mobilization, restoring fiscal discipline, rebuilding confidence in the financial sector, and supporting indigenous enterprises to grow. Economic resilience is not achieved through austerity alone, but through production, inclusion, and shared prosperity. As the keynote speaker said, the IMF program, the Extended Credit Facility Program with the IMF, has been very successful. We will emerge from the Extended Credit Facility with the IMF towards the middle of this year. And it is my hope that this will be the very last time we will ever go for a bailout from that international monetary institution. It must be the 17th and the last time that Ghana goes for a bailout from the IMF. We'll continue our collaboration with the IMF under Article 4 and other instruments that the IMF have. But it will definitely be the last time we go on our knees to beg for a bailout.
Of police and police leadership over the years, offering counsel, guidance, and encouragement with doors always open to us. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Chief Constable of this country, I must commend Your Majesty and highlight your role in peace building and conflict resolution, which has had a profound impact on national security. Mentioning your exceptional mediation skills, which have restored peace in numerous countries across our nation, compels me to describe you as the King Solomon of our time. Your wisdom, patience, and moral authority have brought calm where tension once prevailed, and unity where division once threatened our peace. Specifically, you chair the Committee of Eminent Chiefs that successfully resolved the long-standing Dagbon chieftaincy crisis, restoring peace and stability to the area. Your mediation efforts in Yendi, and more recently in the protracted Boku conflict, to mention a few, have yielded practical recommendations that continue to guide security operations. Today, the relative calm in Boku has significantly enhanced policing efforts and community confidence. It is worth noting that chiefs, as custodians of land, culture, and customs, remain indispensable partners in maintaining law and order. In this regard, Your Majesty, you have personally intervened in numerous land and chieftaincy disputes in the Ashanti region, restoring sanity, reducing violence, and making policing
create an interlocking mechanism based on the cardinal principle that culture cannot do without the police, and the police cannot succeed without culture. So, culture without law becomes nostalgia. Beautiful stories with no teeth. Law without culture becomes false, effective but brittle. One shapes the heart, the other restrains the hand. A society that restrains only the hand while neglecting the heart merely postpones order, disorder. As the king and embodiment of one of Africa's great enduring cultures, I've seen culture at its finest, and I have also seen it at its worst. I've opened up the deliberations of Asantman and our traditional councils to the global media so the world can see how genuine customs resolves disputes peacefully, preserving relationships and dignity. I've also seen how distorted tradition may be used to justify violence and impunity. So, what we have seen and done reinforces my belief that when authority, traditional or otherwise, employs disorder as a tool, it has abandoned legitimacy. Custom was never designed to protect criminals. It was designed to prevent crime. Every culture in Ghana provides a formula for resolving disputes, and it is only when our fidelity to cultural values fail that disorder takes over. So, true tradition aligns with justice. It does not compete with it. This is why the role of the Ghana Police Service is indispensable. I recall that Christian only recently assumed the position of Inspector General of Police under a cloud at a time when public expectations of the police were high and patience was thin. Within this short period, the impact of leadership has been felt, and we see a star reflecting the essential element in law enforcement: calm authority anchored in professionalism. So, the greatest victory of law enforcement is prevention, and prevention begins long before police sirens sound. So, it begins in homes, and it begins in homes where discipline is taught, in communities where elders are respected, in cultures where wrongdoing is socially discouraged before it becomes legally punishable. This is where culture performs its most important work: to create an interlocking mechanism based on the cardinal principle that culture cannot do without the police, and the police cannot succeed without culture.
A sustainable Ghana must rest on a productive diversity.
So, culture without law becomes nostalgia. Beautiful stories with no teeth. Law without culture becomes false, effective but brittle. One shapes the heart, the other restrains the hand. A society that restrains only the hand while neglecting the heart merely postpones disorder. As the king and embodiment of one of Africa's great enduring cultures, I've seen culture at its finest, and I have also seen it at its worst. I've opened up the deliberations of Asantman and our traditional councils to the global media so the world can see how genuine customs resolves disputes peacefully, preserving relationships and dignity. I've also seen how distorted tradition may be used to justify violence and impunity. So, what we have seen and done reinforces my belief that when authority, traditional or otherwise, employs disorder as a tool, it has abandoned legitimacy. Custom was never designed to protect criminals. It was designed to prevent crime. Every culture in Ghana provides a formula for resolving disputes, and it is only when our fidelity to cultural values fail that disorder takes over. So, true tradition aligns with justice. It does not compete with it. This is why the role of the Ghana Police Service is indispensable. I recall that Christian only recently assumed the position of Inspector General of Police under a cloud at a time when public expectations of the police were high and patience was thin. Within this short period, the impact of leadership has been felt, and we see a star reflecting the essential element in law enforcement: calm authority anchored in professionalism. So, the greatest victory of law enforcement is prevention, and prevention begins long before police sirens sound. So, it begins in homes, and it begins in homes where discipline is taught, in communities where elders are respected, in cultures where wrongdoing is socially discouraged before it becomes legally punishable. This is where culture performs its most important work: to create an interlocking mechanism.
We cannot cannot build the Ghana we want if the progress made under one regime is reversed under another. Our economic development programs must be medium to long term. We cannot build the Ghana we want together if after every regime change, economic development programs are discarded and replaced with entirely new ones. Our progress as a nation must transcend political seasons. And this is why I've decided to make this second mandate, so graciously granted to me by Ghanaians, count. I've pledged, you can clap if you want. I'll take that again. This is why I've decided to make this second mandate so graciously granted to me by Ghanaians count. I've pledged to raise our economy and governance to a level that no succeeding government can reverse. In a region where democracy is backsliding, we must demonstrate that democracy works and that our people can have faith in their leaders to uphold their interests and create opportunities for national prosperity and resilient economy, one that is capable of withstanding shocks while creating opportunity for all. Our development model must decisively move away from excessive dependence on raw material exports towards value addition, industrial production, and knowledge-based enterprise. We will roll out a policy this year that requires value addition to our minerals, to our petroleum and agricultural products before export. It is in this context that my government has placed the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program at the heart of our reset agenda. This program is not a slogan, it is a structural transformation strategy to extend productivity beyond daylight hours, deepen manufacturing, support logistics and agro-processing, and create millions of decent jobs across the value chain. This can only be achieved in an environment that is conducive to investment. And this is why my administration has moved quickly to implement the urgent reforms that are required to stabilize and grow our economy. We've achieved measurable success, including a stable currency, touted as the best performing in the world for the year 2025, inflation falling from 23.8% at end of 2024 to just above 5% by the end of 2025. Debt falling from above 66% to GDP at the end of 2024
share Emamunina Joe about Kessben television so and a brother January or Papa Smith to Sunsia, our film Pimino ne Eduno in Siam, the 6th day of January 2026. The first edition of Adwenkyere and a de bro, Shafia see Neddy Kaya and our transfer Adwenkyere so our Kessben television so your multi TV decoder and so oko DSTV so a your channel 364, Gold TV channel 121, about Facebook live on so about Kessben TV and our Kessben FM baby I will be able to stream it live now so you may only a kabum Eddie bidding Eddie Kofi Appiah Malamia ya nebo ichidom na ya somo ene anopa fisab ene nyumre fisabre kopem se ebebo nundua yebe sorry you may eso na ensempti try see ene day and I said the abo bi achrewo no New Year school medie bia afi bi e sha afi hofro no ase a o memu mpanifo akuni na ni ntinhia no madwedwene nsem hia bi a efa Ghana mai ho amanyofo beba wo nso wosuapon mu animdifo beba ene wo nso ye nnuma akese lawyer fo nyina baby no bi abeche na dwe se Ghana baby ye de kronomai ade we di o man no ke ni sei a ene ye na omatoto adwen sebe ya omen witi ya fado ntoma pefre no ene na man penis excellency John Dramani Mama wakasa se ye ode atudwa se areho se Ghana etode bia abana sesape na ba foforo ya oba no na ono so gese osabe ye ni bibia foforo se ye ensure continuity se baby obi ekoduru ye no ofoforo ba ono so meto aso a yade ebeboa pa na de Ghana me akonkan na omen etimi afa ntoma pefrent one wasre se Ghana yemomode a safi betimi aduru sa pempenso no na bebeduru sa gina pen na bia no a afi de amanyuku ba akonye bibia foforo ba na ono nso aba beto aso we ade a edi Ghana me ewu pa ya ye ho program ha akasa fasade ho se brebia no abanfoforo bia ba na abandadane niema oye nyina no ogidi yese ni nyina achia na fe no obehwem na oye sei bi okra onto asokra bio na ohye projects ahodo a abaya abese kra ye a abaya be di na chi baye no wanfa ne nsanka na ga na mesike ko wuremu na sika na kam ya emfamfaso bi amre ya na areho. You can talk about JJ Ronnes Abreso, you go for Abreso, Mahama 1 and Nanado Abreso ubia wo project bi oye ya abanfo fro na ba ye no wo mo angohwe antoaso we ade ba ko se Ghana yitimi atene ye ho na ye hu se e Ghana mesika de ye dise abanfo fro ba na enye wa manyu kurokura na ye na hunu se ehun hia se wo se etoaso a na wato you can mention a lot of projects so here man pena na akofo a affordable housing scheme you start here bibiri na kuma asene nkran de ene ate se the master for so omunye set for ye wie no mobroafo intimi nto business no more affordable ukokufu di and other regions in bebre a affordable program no bibiri na affordable housing project no you know I anto aso Mahama 1 or starting e-blocks no almost starting 123 imodo do say na wie imodo do say na akanwem up to now yentimi anye agenda 111 MPP abanso di omyeye aban baye ometuma ato ni nyina so ana okay saglemi housing project ye no so jo Mahama 1 oyeye MPP ababa fie nwotwe omanwie abawe ba ono so start nyahodo bebre ade na ke yenkoye echi na yenwie sa projects ni nyina ansana yesa ka foforo amaye nti asemo ne mampani kai o New Year school ase no yade hia pa mampani sa bo wo mo a omo bo am ye kwatia gadamse enso etu ase wo Ghana memo so obo ma so pa so omo ma ba mu omonyo no omo konko den na na pa ma chi dwumadi no so no e video see pictures be break show say fresh Chinese ya manfo akofo ma begumu no enya semketo akra ya he odoso we wo me fresh pa ya che say ifidi a wo dia ba omudi gala no enya agrokra ti the fight against galamsey e ade a ose yemi ene bread man penese wo mo de ahye wo so mo kwatia no obo mo ba so mo mababu mu omo nyino ho enkonkoden na ade no itimi yeni tu ase a ebebu amen ene historic visit of the occupant of the Golden Stool Asante Mewura otikruwe krare ne branwoma so tumfo sito bi opinso otutu atatai akọ police headquarters won cry akosra IGP wode na di nkomo afa Ghana me bambo ho ensem ho se de do bo video no a utie no otokoko so akansem pi ode atudwa se preventive measures no ya na ye chen punitive measures se ade ni si ano enumom yesense nipa no be ye na ye betwe na so o kai bible a wose so wo ka nipa ansa ne apenka brekyerefo a na nkabrekyerefo ho ni mfaso de oso muteme kyere nkabre na wo no kra anye dai enka nipa no te de be ya ebesi emuwia no nse da e betwen se nipa no be ya de na wie na yetimi nso akase yakotwena so crime prevention eno stress ye ma enomwa eno ne ade aso ya eye greatest victory for law enforcement. IGP Ora Christian tete ho no ono so abo Santime Urabasa, he is the King Solomon of our time. If you say we niam bia na nka den se amanyofo betimi aya opim so bempe na asumdua ba ye nyina ye kai omampena da John Ejekonkofo abreso obedi ade a ni beye afe na yete se yeni tokwasiwo ama abudu ni andani abohye adehye abusuamienu ako ama yana Yakubu andani nipa bonfo bi de omonsa akoka no ema hoye butu na nya agrokra na opemso eno hwekaye ma abudu ni andani fo ntem asomwie baye a omutum si ohene foforo amene abudu ni andani fo ti asomwie mu ayendi ehwadwo fom boko de ye baye amanyafo na presu bia omaka bia nanso na enkusiaga nanso mampani ma kyerɛ sɛ handing over notes ya mampani da na akufu ade no ma no ɔtwɛwum sɛ wɔde bɔko ntɔkwasɛm no wɔde ho asomdwe sɛnkan no ahyɛ opemso nsa ɛno nti ɔno nso de ahyɛ opemso nsa ɔnto aso na yi nyinaa nim sɛ December abosom etwa mu ya na opemso utie kusase de mamprosifo no bia asɛm ɔkaayɛ na ɔhwɛ ho abakɔsɛm kyerɛ mu sɛ ha ɛna wɔse yɛde to na ɔmɔde to ampani ampa for the first time in so many years. Boko omudi Samampi festival ya kyerɛ sɛ hɔfoɔ no omoni agye pa bo pinso abaso ɛne na IGP nso kyerɛ sɛ sɛdeɛ Nyankopɔn ma ɔhene Solomon nyansa yɛ nsɛm wa ne kyerɛ adwen emu ɔden utimi enso kama asomwie baeɛ no sɛ nimdi na bi Nyankopɔn ɛde Santime Ura akyɛ Ghana man ya utimi boama baabi a ɛden pa no yɛne kugina hɔ a nyansa ɛka na asomwie nso etimi aba ye no nso nti abona baso enso ewo saade no. So these are some of the things semua asisi enedey emubi yenkotie IGP Ura Christian tete Yehono na baso body a ode ema Santime Ura otokoko so tumfo si to bibio efa nyansa ni nimde sonko a Onyankopɔn de ma sɛde ode ma King Solomon na ode bu no man no yinti the IGP kai
offering counsel, guidance, and encouragement with doors always open to us. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Chief Constable of this country, I must commend Your Majesty and highlight your role in peace building and conflict resolution, which has had a profound impact on national security. Mention your exceptional mediation skills, which have restored peace in numerous countries across our nation, compels me to describe you as the King Solomon of our time. Your wisdom, patience, and moral authority have brought calm where tension once prevailed and unity where division once threatened our peace. Specifically, you chair the Committee of Eminent Chiefs that successfully resolved the long-standing Dagbon chieftaincy crisis, restoring peace and stability to the area. Your mediation efforts in Yendi, and more recently in the protracted Boku conflict, to mention a few, have yielded practical recommendations that continue to guide security operations. Today, the relative calm in Boku has significantly enhanced policing efforts and community confidence. It is worth noting that chiefs, as custodians of land, culture, and customs, remain indispensable partners in maintaining law and order. In this regard, Your Majesty, you have personally intervened in numerous land and chieftaincy disputes in the Ashanti region, restoring sanity, reducing violence, and making policing more.
We IGP o memo post pen in Ura Christian tete Yehono abasobode ne ensem okafa Santime Ura ho de waboa ama subwetimi aba yende na afi nanu ya boko e de okaye se IGP no mo kra koboko ma ne car omo de omo ni breso so na nya agrokra ma ne car kra no omo ese no ntudu ba bi a eden no ono kra ofiri wo hu se ba bi ade na duro no ani ayenya nti obonso atimi atutu sa abasase no asumdwe ni atutu abasane sre ama asumdwe aba ho a na ogidi se wo se ebo no abaso ensemu ane de esi ebi na yake enanwumre ensemu a ye bedi ho nko we afini ye to aba ya Ghana 42 minutes share His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Nsa ya endi samanyuko bedi men so no enhye ya omoaye edi afa Ghana men ho be ka ho asem bebia na dollar eda ene bebia ne abeduro bebia na inflation see the start to niema buo mo na tie bebia ene abeduro. Are we seeing economic stability and I say abebia ba ne fiti ase no say ya na etie Ghana for the one hunu say eniema bebre asesa cement bo abafom iron bros bo abafom ne munsuo ne nkane abo de afi atum kakra wo mo ekra ne ba de adanse say dollar no ba afom no ama ne ma bo ananke bi bedu sabre tutumo na ntum ne madwadifo no so kire say adeto no enkoyi ento ade sa ama up till now dwadifo no bi ka say bronya bre no ne bronya achi nyina no adeto no enkoyi nti yebehwe se afie twam afie di kan no NDC aban ba omomodem bo etsen ne mahodo ya aban no aye the fight against corruption omo ya che omo de omakugina senia bia ene ho nsem bebre no se ehwe afie di kan no a niema ekoyie announce there's more room for improvement ibedi honko wia na January bosomi mu New Patriotic Party NPP amanyuko no do and die make or break nyese bi omo kokon nemum ewo se bosomi mu no mu yi omo frank etufo nipa wodi omani ma prema mpene adwa afempimi no ni eduno 2028 flag bearer ena NPP fo ko nipa num ena omo chini Ghana me ka omo asem kire delegates se ometo aba ediama omo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Kennedy Akompra ko Japan Kwabreje Japan Dr. Yosedu Chum ena afira Brian Echampon. Who is your surest bet NPP fo no mu apaapae ebisi Dr. Bawumia no a ne nsanfa no kro wakodi di kan na ohwe mampenda da akofo na ado a obi anko baako ani nkunim it to be unfair say okọ baako pa wanya no ebeka so anya de ntie nyi no ensi nchen say sad ne kobie mu no okọ a woni nkuni beba ebi nso kire say okọ didi kan no say the modern botie ne de ye ne kobie mu a enye yie nti obi e kana sem ye behwe how this election is going to shape the future of the MPP say ni pa na ne pre no say omoto aba ne wie na say onu bedi nkunumu so omofoforo bedi nkunumu ometimi nyina be ka bom abeta na chi na omaye adwuma na de omo adi Dr. Bawumia chi e kan say candidates ni bi nsem omo katia Dr. Bawumia no eno na MDC for the year campaign in 2024 nti ene obi ahwom kasam ye just about 25 days kind of wadununum no mkoto abai what is going to happen if we na ede koi say na NPP amanyuko no ometima ejina brane na 2028 omama NDC atwamfie nan pa na that will also be a history say Ghana party bi buy mfie nan pe eji tumi no efie ni nsemo is it going to happen for the first time and now say 8 years ne de oye de ya just omo tra position mfie nwotwe ansa na omatimi aba yewie no so I be call NDC for so omo de MPP for wi a John Mahama Ghana memra constitution e ma no kwan so we sa pra kunya no prince so enipa bi asori o NDC mu se omhwe ne bode a oso timi kotete ono a ka se da bi onko ebi so che se o majority of the crowd can parliament se party no pushi se on pushi for the agenda of tete for Joma Amade a obeye e ma the general secretary Fifi Kwete and the national chairman Sidun Ketia o nyina be ka se da bi majority leader pre no hodo na ebra NDC for the 31st December revolution afi twa mu ya no Fifi Kwete bufui sem ototoma ne wo mo kase Joma ama nko de toso miensa no de ne wa fa ancho mo kra bi so authority as a Fifi Kwete u born dog sem wa ka no person kire say the NDC for so wo de just after MPP for wi wo de no wo nso bi nyom de so NDC mu sisia no a there isn't a stand out candidate who will be a kase we de he stand tall among the rest say uhwi mu pa kase very clear say abato omko de anye we be we so here MPP a ebra 2007 omoko primary so no na obia nim say anya na nado a be Alan because now the two candidates were standing out. Baoba NDC musisia ye ni any primus inter pares obia o kase we die or first among equals. Omo nyina Julius Deborah chief of staff Diaba national chairman Sidun Ketrediaba obi ti say vice president Harry Dusu Bonabaso say o obetime the president Onobo Erikopoku asase ekeka ne ho ohun so no so nya bi obedi ebi si ato force so say do si manage your Mexico sam no enye nwa so no so beti asimu bia so din wom but do hwe omu nyina mu a you can see a stand out candidate for now nti binum when this mu che say in the light of this no so we had the job mama ya ma building over the years na you say omu ni candidate bia or stand out just like that push term agenda na beko the panel so onya dia ono o adwen wi aso beko sa so omo so tokwa no ho here we say at appropriate time and so ebeba ti benya bre na ye di sansimi company fu en anwumre ye na omo ye this intellectual discourse Dr. Barnabas Ade Amanfo or a lecturer of education leadership ewo Suapo Ananke friend Amstead say school ni dino and the daughter be me who say din for be the amon was say omo eyusu Saraso na Dr. Samuel Free and also a lecturer and political analyst or Kumasi Technical University penfo mi no ye nchen and ye no omo AD enkomo Barnabas akwaba Happy New Year so
Happy New Year
now how you there
Yami adaroma say afina ko na abetu yen there it say nyamena na wose yeda na se
that's right na ese mu school no din say
yes school ni din e Akentina Piamenka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development
Vivian sign
the Vivian sign
okay
say Parliament passed a bill. There was a president assent to the bill. That's
why I'm said now. That's right. That's it. Dr. Free.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You are looking good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now where there?
I'm young. We are more.
But there's some this our problem maybe.
Oh, there be
a school ni about to be. That's why you Kumasi.
Kumasi ni ade too.
Kumasi so there. Ultimate Ghana a funny nation. Ayo. Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Accra dey near friends say. Ohinijai. They say you Ohinijai no. Hey. Okay. Dr. Barnabas, for me, shall say through so the year under review. 1 year and this 7 you could be main so. Maybe over far Ghana main any baby or Modia Kudro. The economic front, Skasemu, Amanyo Semu, any near Mahodo Yakano, almost say.
Offer Medase, I'm saying, I am Mamrano, said the Nimuno Yashenti, in Fiena in Bia, Yatuaba. Omampeni a wote so se mrano ma okwan ma okobi ma akoso ahodi ahwenti se 2024 December yeto aba ma 70 January yede omampeni President John Dramani Mahama isi abenwa so na ofa ode bosome kakra ode hyehye na memu ministers ne ade appointees ne bibia enne kura me no ka say minsura metimi akasa still ai bia wonwie appointments em say hu say president bia over 7,000 appointments into oha na we ep but for now the metimi akasa basically no a take shape ankasa ni ameka say edikan a mebo omampenia baso eye ne promise oyeye say oba the entire friend lean government once you krom no can lean government na akoye ministers
okay
enti we specific kakra e man hu say onyi ministers a ebro adusia enti na yemu bi no beka say na ya twen yesepese na say nsamansama osama ne tamfo nsuo no na ye hwe say ya drew oman yakoba bi akonya 120 ministers yakonya 100 ministers ne de keka ho Inti 60 no na akoye school of thought to be said there be editing or head Jumai or na 60 ministers na editing, but Becca say by and large or ya dear Emma utim say could do baby utim say na editing, but on the whole no Becca say one promiser na a key out me emiti do another angle of a Abba say said the union lean government in Chile ministers and Kwan. There are certain appointments if you are or sha or more the kind of emoluments, the more GNA or more conditions of service and cry. If you employ at the status of a minister or any minister, into her certain appointments be one special envoy to the Sahel region, one new appointments be bra, but specifically on ministers, the Mecca say, oh yeah, dear. Now be share the friend of microeconomic indicators. Dr. Free wa Nedia, but oberhesa of mine. Ubu okra unima de cro inflation no. Said unima de cro bu okra dollar to one no dollar no onye bi nkwose santa. But the bahon komodia of a krum ha OBA DB. See ye kase exchange rate at the same, ye kase inflation at the same, ye kase fuel born near the ade. Obekase generally no. Abane by Osha inflation about 23%. Na ene yenam single digita. Emfa home any exchange rate. Ohe dollar baby a net da pounds baby a net da euro no baby a net da ni baby a ena abidra. Said the mechano. Osha just you kind of say figures in it here. Because abane no abona homote. Other side on so be catch say there be. So Osha sika. Official records in Free Bank of Ghana Airbus did $10 billion and air shocky and I say chocky $1 no money to me near na because say artificial because open so dollar jina your name was away production manufacturing near the day export near the air cost but the dollar and I say the $10 billion, almost about 800 million, that's $1 billion every month. And yeah, they shock amount for raising issues, baby. But she say, hina beto said now of our daroma obubi. Jadi for and beer nanka, you cannot say the bread basket na ye the measure inflation near dinner. Mkase kakrana oku German swa. Kwasem say bibo no aba form. Do it be acronym a chance at the net here, it been so maintaining. Doc Moha, Bejer de say, Yakasa inflation, and Teresa Antonia Memubium. Do a no say be at the rate and not a near man of born year tumuno. Then yes, tumun ten terminal. It be a Gia home kakra. Until generally no of our makers, or should be to say constitutional review committee. Na is a commission or committee or cast or betia what ama Professor Prempe the committee omodomo report aba yes say processor ye debedi hu dwumano ebekoso ye nyina ye 1992 na ye war the friend say military government ye nyina na say ye ntempe ye pese ye ntentem nyamemfa ne currency President Rawlings wa ma ho kwan say ye nkoto aba we say one yen in term and me and constitution. I say anti constitution said in state or said a net bia na kwa de say constitutive assembly ni say yen tum ni amfa ni djuma da chi no e grow ekoyenim no e grow anase e be review ba be hwe say mfie be duasa na echiri na ohwe constitution ne ho ne manema bia na esefata nti ofa eno so President Mills ye Professor Tugubamu di hujuma ye hunye kusiye enne ya sabe shasi bium abedru ya submit a report at least make say ye stage ya ko order nti enye nwanwa bebre but ye hope say bibi betimi afiri mu aba wo hwe o ade make say wo hwe former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on say Drew baby na akoye issues bebre wo Drew dwabo mu a beka say ahemfo yes wo mon sorry make I say or tana Kumasi ya Mufidi Cassia Bakum na media journalist Bisano Quabre constituency ma NPP vote Cassia pa a Washington region. Almost more quine or share because in Yano baye no or share so cotton and crime Fidi Cassia Bako so yes, or in a view of voter region was say Nisuku Yenye Ujin enti ekodru baby no na a hard dream. But Osha President Mahama, I say, or buy no, I had not dream say, or better take advantage. It was a mana ABCC, na a negative reportage. And then Osha say, oh, drew to ma, I am free, or ye be a two. Oh, yes, also require was setting us. Well, and some of these things, you know, we had to take advantage of some of these situations. And generally, no offer. Make us say the public outlook near the day. Should visit Nano or the former president John Ajikum Kufuor. I say Nema basic name maybe, but on the whole, no. Make us say there's more room for improvement. We share abandon the che mukrumha. So also measure be a friend life expectancy. Adeba kwa ofa we free when ye health. Say ya pomuten. Ubekwa district if no need district hospital. Polyclinic kure bi ni ho. Ubekwa na we ni ho. Inti aban no ba ko etwa mu ne ye say bibia ye friend agenda 111. Inti ka be hwesa aban yi ba ye to aso ana say yi but ye hu se dodo na stole. No nyina akwan ahodo bi a ban ba akon de nsa kan ye ene no e kan bi e beba so e wo the new year school ye kan continuity so share project audit asoman ka wose ye aban we be so ma ye Ghana for sika na nka ye de atoa so a megidi se nka beboa ye nyina enti some of the projects are ya abandon eno so ya ade a meka se ti aban no max kakra say aban da dade nsa keka projects bi na eyeden your man for nka benefit na say yakwa say o ye ja to ho ye ja ye say no o hwe galamsey galamsey ye ade a minsura meka say 2024 election if feed into na me you tag member and as you tag members ye call strike ni nyina say galamsey and no baby sa won say of a me de bia me di nkomo a me mfa ho say ye yo so aban no ko wate 9 months wate ho ahwan question na ye di nkomo ni nyina area no mabisa say what is the effect budget first budget about 15 million Ghana cedis and aban twa shemu see de be kon galamsey obebusa ho say effect no sunsunsanso anything galamsey swati nana insuo na eni asai yensase ne mfudie na essay no ofa eno bebisa wo se eswati ana enti se sonte ye dia na tese ne kono emfa ho ne committees ayate ne groups ayate ne hwan for me meka se na ya koye hwebuada enti wo kan nyina putogum hwegum kan bibia o mexia obeka se first year of every government of a mechanical say ukosha records na aban bia first year no ne nema toto no ya na for me make say bia ye natural de on say aban ne sesa obi kura na odi dollar bi asie obi na nanko ye bibi even corruption ne ade a e bia for now ye nya hu bebre no aban asesa new political heads were ministries within a year who ye bibi a obehwe ye obi kura leaky document a we careful say on koye na nkofa asem mre no enti for now no betimi aka say enyanwanwa from aban bia first year enyanwanwa bebre okohwe NPP 2017 ekosi na yina inflation na baby eda esote ene dollar because e match dollar no e safwa no asha ye hu ni nyina bida enti for me of America say enyanwanwa bebre afia yesi 2026 mu ya ye wura second year no aban ne best spend no na afia ye be hwese ampa so say betumi asom say ya de akọ na say be den
right Dr. Vidasi Dr. Free your initial general assessment said the Dr. Barnabas Akin so say
yeah that's not in chair for In year so. I'm say first time in a bishia wa ni. Bishia baby baby.
I had it be abunsa. Wa ko ba gumira na we aba.
That's that. Mama mu station so official palm penny for anyone kasa personally.
Yes.
Now baby. Me di wa chini abedru ha.
Of a kwa no the dom.
Enya grow.
Say we share the overall assessment. So chana ye the 1 year that he was sworn in. Maybe may equate it to the promises that they gave it to Ghanaians. We say omo ba no omo de omo nyoma bi ne bae. For you to assess the performance of the government now, and no na ye behwe so dia assess. Whether said omo kan and no na omu this one na say enti no so no be subjective when you are making a conclusion. The onka sa agenda no ho no obehun things differently. The oka ho so ebehun no differently. Seb your mom wo aban mu nyina no beka sa aban no de 100%. The omo nka ho enka reset agenda no so beka different thing. Enti for my analysis no may based on what omo buy the omo no person be your mom mind the omo timi aye. And whether say they are doing well or they are on track. And no na ye who say e bi aban no e koso. For some of us ye who say the stability of the economy now omo ka so go be ye no omo timi stable the economy. Whatever means omo use there and no there obi beka say ebu ha me de mechira. And no there
say o ma me awo no nia no.
Nti and the pure economist for no na betimi a church mu say so mo pump dollar into the stability of the city. What I say you good, say you sustainable. Say you know there or more an the bechere. Aban na so nim say the warrior no say be boa na say mo no at the end of the day no. But for 1 year analysis in there, you beka say ebia the city has been stable, prices of goods not all to say the okay no ebi e wo for bi e swati na ebi so appreciate and ebi so esinsemu enti no say you compare when they took over from Nana Adwa you beka say nyoma e okay in terms of the economic aspect. But you share the other aspect of Galamsey. Galamsey, the American say, "O share or more commitment." Any the way or more years send no. I think they have not made much progress. Okay. Because much progress because airline no there omotimi a year free ho. Sebe ya omo mining forest no, reserves no. And also so on the omaya dear pa. But for the concern still now no. You see the other way I can say passion or more adopted towards Nanado government in terms of Galamsey. It's not the same passion that they are using in their own government when they took over. There are a lot of allegations. More party members are involved in these things. Still now, 9 months is doing it, but it's an old strategy. Because the old strategy, it's a phased way of solving it, but not a lasting way to solve Galamsey. Amount for a year, amount for Kase, Myanmar state of emergency. This government call for a Kase and another Myanmar state of emergency. Mumu die do ho wise you know. Usi no state of emergency now. But you are benefiting from gold, you are benefiting from this and my employment in one. So you are using a way to handle and to solve yours. And I am assessing it based on their passion. And what they are now more person and now timidly solve that I'm saying no. They are not using the same passion to solve Galamsey. And no more for AAB. Party you, and they have evidence to prove. And the way they are handling those people that are involved. Nancy, they are attacking Naimos way. Yes, now the MP no involved. No. But could be a man is 100,000 bill, ma free cry. You just do this and think that you are solving. And the operations director of Naimos. Some members of the party are my allegation towards them. No, we have not seen any way of handling that. Mr. President Mahama Ekase will say one of the water no attending to him. So that is the indication. Ghana water for my ability of we need to prove. Say whether say 9 months one your man or you know there has been an improvement. And for some of us, Galamsey aspect are no more cast of mobile year in a year now. We have not seen much improvement. And still, no, I am one of the apparatus of the parties in government as a way to resource their party activities. We know no into party chairman, party executives, strong men in the party financiers. They will go to Galamsey no more use because and no more they sponsor most of their party activities. Not only this government, the ompes of Motomoka. Interno Sano, who ye are no more hand. Intiano Pahade said the government of the day will be so active involved to subs and then until known to be first state of emergency in because they are saying they supported the party. And if we also have to get it's like MPP free mama hand over the ama and this free mama hand over. Galamsey strategy say yeah. So for some of the areas of Galamsey, I think the government is not doing much. Employment. Employment. Be a 1 year near too short for us to see a lot of progress in the employment activity now be our mind anymore. Fine. And they made me partnering the government of because employment, you know, and yes, short term, let's say, yeah, we say, over economy now, decisions be taking time for it to reflect. Economy is from the multiply effect. Who take a decision, be I say, be economy, no, you say prices and in your member for me. I feel a business for be invested, or we invest here, then that is where the employment generation will come in. But people are talking about the 24-hour economy. No? Say you who say process be a share for data. Then because the 24-hour economy is projected, and I say abas omodeba say to solve unemployment. Strategy the NDC government brought to solve unemployment. And it's no my idea. I can't say that the government has made improvement in the unemployment situation.
Okay.
The only now one is a party for the baby and because of that, you know, you baby reset near Yifrim. And that is how it works. So employment, the government will be pardoned, but we will say, we are hoping, say beyond the second term, no, you be who the effect, you be who the effect of the decisions and then the policies are what taking for the first year, no, to see, say, yeah, Franco for a month for quite money way. And we are going to be lastly, the American far away, you know, here, the judiciary, that is the governance system. Ebiana posterity, right? And no country in Chilima. Because it be a decision, the President Mahama make to remove the Chief Justice, whether it was good or it was bad. But now, the perception of which will be taken away from some people is that it was a political campaign and a political decision to remove the Chief Justice legally. Now, if you go school, you see 3 arms of government, separation of powers. President, taking control of parliament, executive, and now if the judiciary, the president can easily use the law to remove the chief justice. And so far, they have appointed more than 100 judges to the court. So the interpretation is that maybe they also want to have their people, of which I will quote the president. I will just paraphrase. It says that they want to balance the Supreme Court. When they met Omushia NDC lawyers some time ago during the opposition. So the perception is that if an opportunity are bad there, that is my analysis. If that means the case, then it means that the president has a lot of powers, judiciary, parliament, then the president is a supreme leader. And CIA analysis say be as a reset, no, a honor, for the NDC is 100%. But for some group of people, of which I'm part of it, it's a deficiency. Because it will affect a better standard for some government, successive government, to go to the judiciary, and then nobody can take it away from them. And to be so bad, would the family declare bar? Since the president has power, he can change it. Say illegally. Legal way no more, until legal way no more scheme. No more so that is the system that we are building, and I see it as a failure, as a tainted something, a war affecting your governance. All the state institutions are, everything is being changed.
Okay.
Everything is being changed. Of which I made President Mahama no say, Bibia wo ye bia no person making sure that continuity.
Sure.
I disagree with the president. Because every software, when you go to every state institutions, everything has been changed. Yes. National service, health service, when you go to some institutions like foreign, a lot of state institutions are systems already running, they have changed it. I'm not saying it's wrong. But when you have a massive way of changing things, so for the NDC, they are doing well. But the system failed. And now caused a lot of challenges. NSS a year because they are sanitizing. Fine. But if you are excuse me. Now, even DVLA, up to now, they have not started because there is an issue. Where allegedly, almost a contract, no more than many people for all the endorsement of these new numbers.
And an endorsement association for no.
See, no.
Yes.
Why can you do that? You want to create a job for one person. Baby man, you see? So that is where our topic was a sicko fancy become. A man for ye say ya giddy. A system where the government has two powers to say the minute can say constitutional review, yeah, but the politicians no more banners a bebuana. Now what ya to M1 net ho. Now another government to swap, but not a constitutional review. Now what him wa never hana. Now what were ya to ho. San ye. And for some of us, we believe that for state security, peace, the government, and I said there, and he has done well for all of us to be safe.
All right.
Economy no so you say the stability, but let's hope for the best for employment and other areas.
Right, but I say, Dr. Sama Free and Watson can. Mamra Dr. Banawaso, Doc, scandals, control of government appointees. A baby as a home from Minoa. Na your man penny pa ne tat no nsem the minister we or the girl be akwese ha o akotoka akomano scandal we nsem ni bebre wo se na afi amanfo bu asase efu So far in the first year, we said they are buying appointees no, or Messi ayo medjuma. The control of the president over them. Formation our teachers the president say wa or better scandal be afa hono. Dan wa uti ebeti. We say the fight against corruption, you know. Ekwe and I just be on free so asani who say second idea or no. Abano or so, but yani a tiny bebre scandal say adeno. In the first year, who say?
Offer me that say. I think I said the kind question and kasa is answered. Ne say, me jiri say me first say you know cry me key be say abane buy enche 1 year dear. And said me can oko share history na bebre appointees no cry a bit me up to now we will cry in Trianaka. Nti neman share dan take ye their friend say spending. Government spending, ministries in Ibioha, no semini, first budget, or share almost spending. Sikano ho, ye bodin, but yen release more man spend it. And yes, you be nana, where yes, a media menya corrupt. Yes, oh, nya corrupt, ye ma, manage bibia, in the corrupt, how ye more opportunities and manage bibia. Anna offer, ye be and power ye corrupt, and nya corrupt. Inti for now no meka say ye hu say president ma omo their friend say code of conduct aban bia ba we ye bi president Kufuor president Kufuor mekai zero tolerance for corruption mekai Nanado ka say or say opesika de enye na aban mu but President Mahama ye kana asimu ne wa hada na ene wo ha wonye nipa foforo bia me hu ne se ye aban no na enyini ye ana normally on offer corruption ye kan ne man ya na ye te me no mienu ye te ho asem eye staff a ewo the various institutions no enti bibi ni a ye kan institution bia be wura mu Ghana no ubenya CPP ni ho ubenya NPP ni ubenya hwan nti niema shase say year but new appointees said them kind na aba nti obia betutu nanamo ye within the first year no but suban de etise nyinsen untimi mfansie nti me say wo fa de yenhwe menye prophet of doom say yeden a asa chenchene wo say eba but ain't me ma say yen subsequent years a ye be wuremu no yen tibi ebi kura biasi but abontin na ebia emaye and na woka no kwasem so ne say ebi kura na aban we penso na ya nte ba aban foforo ba de bia meka say accountability the friend of political accountability ne wona wodo mienu ye wo regime accountability and ye wo post regime accountability regime de ne say aban na nkasa Dr. Free wa aban mu bi wo ye bone a yesi ya chew ye do akogina intense we krum ha intense say regime accountability aban na pege no ho na ne appointee ye bibi no oni needi attorney general na wo se one ne ye no kra onye enti de ya neta ye adwuma ye de efe no post regime and enti de kasa appointee ni wu a ana ehu ne tenten enti we ya ye kan chena ma aban we nko ana ebe hu say yes e bia ne bisi na tempo na bia na ya ante ba me de migiri se bi koso a enya me nwanwa me enya me nwanwa say ye beti because scandal ye kan bia enka ebi nchen attorney general wa ba perceived and enya perceived cry we cry there amanfo gina court as a corruption ewo ho se o mayesi now within be manta ye appointed no or file nolly prosequa say asem we ni ho asem no case asem ni ho asem we ye ni achiri millions of Ghana cedis anana oman na ekon enti obi bebi sa won say is it that be nkomodie bi ko so ana say ye on sa ne ma we nyina ase krom ha na bia say ye mfa hwe ho ye nyina ye sika ebe kwa ye nko enka ye den na obi ejina court say wafa oman sika wafa kwan bi so aba oman no kro no sika ahodo enso attorney general was okoko eje no wase ensem we nyina mini sa attorney general kro na edi fofrachi eno no ye di akire yo enti senke ye oman anka ye ni abre se ye be hodi ye appointees ne politicians accountable enka ye bi anka ye ni baby enti for me there for now no meka say bia ye nya major e bia said that make bia na esi ne ente ye e bi nso a na
okay but me mu sound the performance of the opposition so where MPP mu fra be mu would you say o maye obadwuma yie from parliament say they say omo numbers no so pa but omo so me a mighty minority omo abe mu and the executive no they be omo na omo keep the government in check. Now he said there be quite a band or memono fano or where MPP opposition now or would you want my so far in the face and say
oh yes of a medase say over the years in a day meka say opposition yibia yenye bia ya na omujumedi oppositions na aboyin we krum aside 92 to 96 NPP a boycott parliament yenya any stronger, you know. Make us a free 96 banner dear. Opposition biara are strong. Obeshe, Openi, JH Mensa, Emone, Adia, Eba, unse MPP, minority no more, or more leaders, no. I strong enough. Obi to say Openi and Nanu are free so, or say Mensa. Moni adia ABC honorable afenyo marking so o sha say ndisi nso na wo positioner eno nso omumpenimfo edidi omanim current speaker bamba beni do aja ho moni ademo mudidi omanim no obeka so mo nso ye bia this parliament na eyem say ase ye beye rubber stamp ase NPP bebre because o numbers no wan but yen kan okre say omadi dwumason eye for now kra metimi akasa ye hu omodwumadie ni ye enam se omo primaries na this time omo ye ne ntem no nti so ahwa attention ne kakra omo ye divided kakra ma kakra na kodi primaries no so omo mudi Dr. Baumi Echidi omo mudi honorable Ken ne Dr. Brian Mone Dr. Duchumwechi Edi nti ama but members of parliament from young ones Kwasifuamu upon Krumamu the speaker and Kasa crowd be moniting we did you mason Kasa o she said of a while can he say mighty minority and no money at the mouth but o share the social media would wow be a with me monitor parliament any idea who say at a point no na omudite pace Emma edru baby kra on say we no be kan sem no person or draw attention ofa ye di nkomo hwan na ehwe yan wonim say ofa kofi apia na ye host obi anim you don't need to tell us Dr. Free remember say me host enti ekodru baby na was say majority leader consistently or reminded the house and I say the minority ni say one ye majority leader ekrewo baby na omodu I didn't say yes, I mean, more platforms EB. Na ni amekan ye na nipani bisa say no this gap na eda minority ni majority in terminal and ni amekan ye pa ye say boycott but na at this point no boycott they have the numbers it na enye adwuma but dia ne be ya ma wo mu ye mama Ghana fo hu what is press conferences say mo media na ye mo friend say na parliament wonko a media houses no mo nine be yentia and for me make I say NPP for edis adwuma no to the extent say almost every morning when programs are hodo mo hayi kuma mo breaki kakra na so obi nya kwan ba ha mo frɛ mo a omo nsa omo fa any identity for me of make I say eye anesa and metimi aka say after 31st say omo primaries ni wie na kokeka constituency ne region ni ade na omo nyanko parliamentary election na so a ebi ebe hu omu tumedie ni ye achen ne ye hu ikra.
Right.
So far so good, make us say minority no aya de o have vetting tuma omu di yet na so ne yi na eya nesa nti
Right. That's it. Dr. Free.
Yeah.
Scandals, controlled appointees, and I feel the performance of the minority.
Corruption scandals. Is it? You better free oral. Oral now. I'm buying the President Mahama appointed. I think 5-member committee to do that. We share the number of cases almost presented to the IGP. Na the Kaiser Samo Kujetu, Honorable Kujetu, Kase, Yebenya Bibi said billions of a year from it. And I was skeptical in that because at the end of the day, you know, their basis now devalue ya unya say Ubenya Sike free side. These are all propaganda strategy. In the sense that who can't to Nipana dream. And to make her say, see, I'm not careful. Attorney General being problems because gathering information, presenting for the Attorney General to prosecute people are two different things. Information beyond a evidential, and yet beyond a evidential to present to the court, and that is why the Attorney General is having problems. And he presented, I don't know, in a holistic view, creating in the minds of the people, say, Oba, Obachi, we may discuss. Mean cassette said to me, I mean cassette. I baby, Jesus Christ for any angels in Guane, and what baby move. And a baby a free subiano, a one year whom it's Michia by fool. And my president, and they be a Yama warning. Say, I got 3 years. So all the party are now buying penny for now. No, they are not angels. And I'm not going to be. I'm going for. I dream the rabbi must be different. Obia won the intentions.
Okay.
Obi wo ho me be resika. Obi wo ma me want to take advantage of the system to get money. And obi and now no. What make it dangerous? And they say, Bebe, ne President Mahama ne be free system.
Yeah.
Because
the last year.
The last any and the loyalists of President Mahama will not take chances. Because me fan say Chairman Shedin Ketiaba and I say Julius Debraba and I say Atofos in Bar. Also want a set of group of people that are coming in.
Okay.
And the President Mahama Kasano, you should not forget saying a tiny chair from Sesiko fans, no. They are there to ensure said they also get something out of it.
Before they go.
Yeah, Timmy and Chiwa more. Maybe that will be the previous government that will come. Ebecha before. And I will say ye present your home in a way, say all political corruptors and ye be now more. And the big critical problem am I. And all state institutions, also, if they are not biased, and they will go after people that are within the government. Because I say good board, one of them, Omomotoni, Bawa, Rock, or whatever. I'm expecting to say OSP Krabeko will investigate. Well, the company was established in February. Because Omudibia di GRNA SML contract, and they say, or a timber contractor, and Wabete, kind of say, a software company within a certain period of the Koji. And I'm thinking, says, I within when or more accuse you a certain company, no? Can they also use that? Say airport December 2025 an airport contract be a call and no more grading because a company near T. But how come January, February, a company was established and only be given one only say on quantity to gold on behalf of Gold Board? And then therefore so be an is OSP won't me koyen hojuma. You see? And he say yeah, 4 people who are corrupt now. The way this time no there, Uba can say no wow. Enti aban bi free so a, then the aban
Yes,
the
wow,
Gabo yes
come.
will go
When
go
you
in
apply
for that.
apple.
Yes.
Okay.
Enti abaifo no de say wo mu e de a yentimi nche wo mo. But say upia
Na fe
na fe na yentimi echiche abaifo wa aban
Alright.
for that. Enti
Right.
for some of us we believe that you are politicizing state institutions that are fighting corruption. Into we then they will be subject to the government of the day.
Okay.
Until there's a change in government,
Won't be,
we won't
yeah.
find.
Right. You heard the performance of the opposition.
Oh, performance of the opposition. Make us my idea. Upon all their difficulties, you see, there are two MPP a year.
And it's superior.
And the superior. Yes. Because a spiritual body and soul. It is our three things, you know. Affected party.
The tripartite being.
Yes. Spiritually, they are down. So, no, so, from. And a body no so I am ready. Enti e idea be a party na nkasa pa no.
Yeah, rejuvenation.
Yes. And you know it's not easy. What has happened to the MPP is not easy. Where we go to the lowest level and there's an enter status into ultimi fan yoma ultimi kikan yoma mbomana party executives no is weak. And I have been saying this and I will still continue to say that the national executive of the MPP is weak. That is why I'm a sanyoma winning at the party. And I always compare with the NDC executives. They are strong. Fifikwete is strong. Chairman is strong. Organizer is strong. Ultimate for BBM every party then so now nyana fa hunni. Look at what Fifikwete said.
Okay. Yeah,
so, enti party no that state no mo I feel na say they are coming back to say them can be omoto we ni we are flag bearership ni we no mo fine no mo fit maybe they can play a better role, but they are doing well. I think Afenyo Markin is doing well in a way to create confusion. It's a strategy of the opposition. And I'm focus and the opposition they all say no, that is not a strategy. That is not how minority people behave. You are supposed to create confusion to let the government be seen as not performing.
Okay.
A strategy. They know what you way no it's part because the NDC when MPP they become march or parliament or march pass. So but the Americans said they have really tried their best because omo AEB and your mom your parliament say about lithium ne some contract in here even though numbers but omo can both say penifo bi asote we say na the menye bibia na kwa penifo no bi ni mu it is omo draw their attention abo any from hey massa ade amodi ko say then they withdraw. I think they have withdrawn about 2 or 3 bills for review and the minority for na be draw my attention ka untimi nka say bia ade no be famu sa e de akọ. So for them, as they are said by their name, mighty minority, I think they are speaking well. The omoye na ansenya na omoye de na no kwa de omodo omo say bobote no moto dwumi. Pandai. Yes. You know, yes, it's a way, it's a parliamentary democracy and a parliamentary way of showing your grievances. And you're wrong for they are doing that. But okay. They will be much more stronger when the party nankasa system and our party executives, national one, any party structures in place. They will be serious.
Right, but I say, I was for Adwenkyere made now where our Kessben television, so then you were Dr. Barnabas Adeyama for and Dr. Summer Free, you mean lecturers at universities and aiding Koma here review. I buy the modern board a few chair money opposition, so also to keep the government on their toes. So we have a Bible naso why the Juma said the Sepata na and no Yakoba me message kakrame ba Baba had the upcoming primaries MPP BE or more frank 24. Even so I NDC so the seeming tension ya ebem Sebhaman Kote 10. Fifikwete si omo nkasa ina siku funds e ba be ne di and also a Hong Kong. About good evening, wishing you a happy new year. Attorney General must resign. He's not fit for purpose. Of our teaching law in a classroom and practicing it is different. from Bright Takwa and all the way a free a buyer. Of a good evening. In fact, if we are being objective about the first year performance of this current government, then all and sundry must commend them, devoid of political and intellectual segregation. Who doesn't know that there is forex and economic stability backed by data? No government entity is entirely perfect and clean. So the sky is the limit. From Kojo Shadow, Chivo Praso, and all the way free buyer. Benji in fancy sewa. Written to honorable wisdom. No matter what NDC do to them, they will never appreciate. They will only appreciate in private and come public as if NDC are doing nothing. But they really know anything NDC are in power. They benefit more than their own party. No wonder they want their black and white TV than the original one. You shouldn't forget that not only Ashanti region votes during elections. Teacher Eric will be here in Sikaman, so atreso. Happy New Year to all MPP delegates. Please don't allow yourself to be convinced by anyone, but rather let's all vote massively for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because he is the right choice to move Ghana forward. Good evening, it saddens my heart that NDC and MP have done a great disservice to Ghana so far as project continuity are concerned. Okay, the same message written it twice. Tofik for Concentreso. I think MPP is comfortable with 38.2%. In governance lying, in opposition, they are still lying. Gold ball has come to stay. My regards, Honorable Shak. Okay. Also, they are or they a buyer, I don't know. Good enough. Even this government doesn't respect teachers so at all. OPK, Akokre, and also anyway free a buyer. Okay, you can also keep your messages coming. I'm saying, oh, the assembly ban and fat, the can hold the so young kind. Right, you move on now for you. And now is 6 January. I got 25 days. Na MPP amanyuko ekoyi nipa obedi omanimo entensi uka MPP for share ka wona da no a na de women say ko mo aben mo a omi omo candidate na afe ni akoto aba omo opposition a omi ni mfie mbienu asanya akoto aba but we dey omo say omba opposition no afe pepepe omi omo candidate na omo ma various reasons ibi ne say eyi Dr. Bawumia 1 year to election wenya bre anye campaign yi. They told me and say, and someone party in the year camp, or more year primaries now, is you know. So when to me, you candidate in tem. Now, a man solves our problem. No, I'm a party in me, young Kabumu, and Sana, a debate affair me to a bar, or madam pipe and Rebecca. So, okay, this year, first one, Alan 10 Hose party in the crowd with Jai Kennedy, so I'll give. And another and Bawumia showdown. And some will see a woman, then you grow cry. You see 2024 mono, let's just say MPP, hey, hi, BIBC ally, we did a cheat, if you say Ken, just a non Sibibra, but almost more yen in term. The party in the change or Monshaye, come on to about your polling station executive, no my electoral area coordinators, where you constituency executive, regional executive, national executive, and Sana, or my flag where I said also we flag where I live. We are a Makoshasie at the Academy. Nipenum and a Ejina. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 2 franc and just in the election. Can you upon any contest say? Brian Champon, Dr. Yaduchum, Comrade Japan so contest say by Kunubi. First round no free moon. To hear Brian Champon is Dr. Yaduchum. Omen contest bida. Omen cut off for France, Abbey, or more atun sunumu. Here, I'm promise and some more way to money who wait to money home. And no crowd there, Sikasam or two perfume say, hey, go to about my candidate be a me. Maybe you see me finance minister also penny crum ni a law a friend true in Wando. A cutie be I don't know. You don't need somebody to tell you, say, Nipa we want some near day. Yeah, where dear Coso MPP more, who is likely to emerge as your candidate. Now, as our candidate in the bar, Ubenyan Kabumuama, Omoma Kenina Betanechi. NDC back 2024 election, you know. Dr. Kamrado 4 and the T say Oba, but a bro free mono, ye who sam pape mono a womb. Because no BN him say abaton edaya, Joe Mahama ebewini. So by MPP Moa, a done deal for Dr. Bawumia, and now secondly can spring a surprise, and our more canon sono, Yes, all about better waters, no keke. As I'm afraid, we shall see through so. Promise ye bay, and so any ditch. 25 days I can. Once I can see so far, so good, and I send some more cano. I hear no ana or opponent at the way compared to you.
So far, so good. The mechanic say, I will see it's better now than when they started.
Okay.
But they compare beginning, the near cosono, and now they make say there has been some kind of discipline.
Alas, these are dangerous so.
Oh, when the ensemble, I know the ensemble say here, and then somebody I be Asha and Ray. So, me just a bomb on the missiles, beba from different angles. Because especially the last or the second week to the elections, I want in your money be PP. Ubia be in us and as no be a good system. It be so, yeah, sorry, be ye way. Need a political strategy. Na mechanics any penum no, they are not just ubia keke. Ubia was a special uniqueness. But at the end of the day, who can lead the country? Or can lead the party or be timid unity abre party? You see, and ye bibia na wo obeti me leader. Yana sebi yana skafora na me no mo ekon was ade no ba. Sebi skani bia nim se ni nyansa or dia peskenti no bibia wotimi ye. But that is a wrong assertion. You can be a very ubewo sika, but usika no ebia sebi nkrofo na be pa ma wo. Omo na di nim die ba be kan de wo de sha ase no na watimi nya na mo. Does not mean say the work akran sika na wanya enti no ubetimi manage different types of people. O man no enye nipa bia sa onya a tribe nkwa o. Even languages me see a bro 100 or so. Even in Ghana. Even abusia mukura we abusia pedi kura wo bre. So managing people, diverse cultures, diverse belief, religious way no is not an easy thing. And also we leader obetimi a transcend across these cultures. So far, dear Kosono, my only advice is that Stephen Amman should avoid being tagged as tribal and religious agenda or pursue. For no one safety in terms of say on one that because of a young person as a politician. And some now all can because I think that this is the third time what platform all making such statement. And the AI is an agenda being or pursue, and he can be tagged to that kind of system or pursue. Obey not the religion abem, obey not the tribe abem. But minim ebia na minua or ebia no my research. So far researcher metimi ahwehwe mu a many encounter say ansa no be leader of this country. Tribal and religion is not a major criteria. Nkaneka sebze Kwame Nkrumah ne lema mu nyina they can't be a president. Because no religion can bring a president. And no tribe can bring a president. So when I was here very careful. Say mukika we na for the later no a national platform. National elections are what are you going to say? Mrs. Anyway, I think said the three other candidates they have managed. I say Krana Brown class not to bomb on every bus and I say Wajai Kakra. Duchum and Kwabre Japan. I think they have been the best. A woman about Tiba could be nice a missa, Nenam Yum, nice a quarter Venezuela, na fedi a yebi basa. But you know, no, make us say the way a Shasiana, I say fire no, and what day no. I'm Jidis Pennyform, Mr. President Kofone, a month for Remuno Mudin Como, Kakrano. I tell you down, but Bijidi said, if they are able to, I think it's a delegate, no. And they hear them, the decider. Tiana ba wiemu saa na mototo fa wiemu no. Me what they want to achieve. Entime omun target their delegate. The delegates are the deciders. It's a national election so. And this oh yeah dey bia wo wiem bia na portray say we a national one yen na ebe to abandia wo mistake. The one that will win the election is those that delegates the delegates what they want is that they want somebody who can bring the party together. They want somebody who is a winnable candidate for national elections. They want a candidate that can bring them hope. Because they are down spiritually, to say them can't, so they want someone to bring them back. And these are the criteria. They Sikadie Bronya Ibia from Minyakofi, one year. So Chebronya, the one Chebronya, the Yentoma. Adiwe, I've been and Sana, to say, but do our time, no, so I Jifafaka. They just said, no, so, and the moo. And the delegates in the dear. Omu so na ba national executives no so and them they say there I was am call MPP delegate na mitiminya a lot of yipa because it is something that sikadi a flow in the system. If you don't have money you can't go into politics now. The MPP should manage themselves well. And penifo na ewo mu no party no executives na break it down but mejidi say the neck ne key people be ewo bia no omon try but Mati says, Bedua, almost our comment, Ness, and Tokwasam, be my what you say, I won't mean yes, we ain't Tokwasam. And yen Tokwasam. The obey be no so one ye. Nessa found a foul corn. Is it the delegate this time, no, and they are more dangerous? One here now, why he? Oh, yeah, he's all Belusu Abano. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he Belusu Abano. So, Omonia very, 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 very careful. Comes now. Sebi ebi kasa ba heart no ebi nkasa yi ana we so nya personal score that is why I disagree with what statement ayide ba no sika kan no a personal thing do wo ko nya personal experience what do you want to tell me say ye nyina for that direction no you are being selfish
baba utie the Adwo Asafo nso be kan na ono so was doing campaign for Dr. Baumia but she ended up obewie no. No, say or no personal political career anti. And no, you say even though many can or but the Canadian Japan minim no or bad political career be ending. Is it not the same thing? You see, me of Obio do be a chibia has selfish interest. Or that mean be to me do what she's and I'm not mean yapping. Meaning say bia, maybe do what ya opportunity be a beer, and I say, Omomudi Kwabna Japan ne we munino. Sebi omuna so be a man we nekra kamboma. Maybe when the opportunity comes, they will ask people to obi a person obuano or ben man now person the neighbor. I think the leader would be man that kind of opportunity. Until obi a do obi a chibia no, what that first interest of what selfishness say I didn't also command me. But you cannot use it as a way to convince all of us. Okay. So selfish interest in no you hear me wachi. You are supposed to tell us, say, ye begin power ye me as a delegate, me interest is so by but the no interest. And I mean, we need to as a myself because who interest now will pursue. Who won't him be you so interest? And fan can't tell me say, me do what because who so interest. And what's a who catch up me delegate in me be 2 abama a year. Me ba e bia say party no e be stronger. Opportunities be boa me leader way or bar say but who may make a statement say me interest in me am 1 minute no mama nkoto ma way but obi obi achi bia no e was that agenda of selfish interest if not kobi enkodo obi achi obi anim so obi be boa obi but umbe use that personal and uniform me convince and me kan che say adekonti a wo say ye toma way ni say me way am me way tribalistic na wan we yes sir. Then you are creating confusion for you as a person, for people not to believe in you. Say, let's assume we say, Dr. Baumia Winnie, will you be given an opportunity? Because we are accusing the Pakrona way, I can say a tribal. So I would have mentioned, Nananado, and a person way na waste one penny. What can you make such a statement? And sometimes,
The young ones, you see, the men who are politics, they say, and penifone woman, omu make such comment. So, mummy and to me resolve all issues. So, now, who now was a form now, oh, bano. So, one who the real Bessia Cassa, no one who the real Bessia, your man now, Jane say, who's who bet me a Cassa anyhow. Say, so for the car, I come with tribum. No more coming together. Hey, but me and you can't beat me up with here. They can resolve their issue. President Mahama ne ba me beat me they resolve their issue. Now wo sabi they be make an pine down kwa. Wo be bresa because you are not there. So they should be very, very, very careful. Sabi ya will make some commenter. And affect your political career. Okay. At the same time, also no, and be affected one kasawo personality within the party now. Yes, idea. Because who can say anything no. You are building somebody to come and contest your seat and even get you out. Ube mo bi kura bu afu say na aka no ma shada ko po bi asika no discover be di nipa ko achi na yi wa free ho. And but you are a young person, you have a lot any nkrofo ewo not a yinkwa ba omia camp nkrofo bi su timi kika nsem bebre ano ya din. Enti sebi omo hwe omo kasa mu yi eno hia chen bibia.
Right. That's it, doc. Dr. Barnabas.
Papa. Yeah, some if you are there, no, Idris said, "Ya pray ne bad ya, ya na, a hard dream." But of a near mechanic say, "Ya me can be say eye for an eye." But when say minimum the entire so can say eye for an eye. Ne say utu many numbers me two near. Of I see we are in near two. Into a bed ya coffee.
Obi a hunu
yonko, obi a hum fee quine. And he say, "Yeah, my politics and a quiesa, many say a beboa in NPP near the decaying. For me, this is the 8th, or more 2026, the 31st January, day, and a better so much until 92, 96, 98, 2007, 2010, 2014. Ana escape ya ba 2020 and it's 23 and 24 the omdi Dr. Bawumiano 23 yeah inti the toso enwoche say NPP presidential primaries and inti so we political party this exercise no wanya na sa emprenson na ne e betoso nwotwe a Kamini say was a utimian wrong. Coming hunisa, so was it because as I rehearsed, I don't know why and over. And those days you cry no, make us say, na politics yenti a see ye no, nebia, ubits me a pardon, because in some way yet in your custom say, and pa yatitibida to the extent that those days, President Gufoko 96 anyi. I was pre 98 the abe pre 2000 no almost said the banche with the kujasoni and twa yeah just say nsem na utibia but in the end no omuko mu efri mu just say nsem no bebre meka se enedie of a winning first no obetimi akwahye me manso na wakoka nsem bi obi an record obi anye enti omo campaign na dey friend targeted campaign oduru saboba cherepone asem o kanko okoduru sahwi boako a ensem a o kanko okoduru manso patase ansem no nko oduru isilego ansem no nko ba ne no beebi a o ka asem biara ekira ne da bonten na ba akokra san ya yi wo mu ne se me hu ne se amanfo peche camps eseneche enti metimi aku me wo Dr. Bawumia makoma mu ni me bibia but metimi ayem ho say me wo honorable Ken na me di ni campaign mu me wo plania or strategize a metimbi na make kan sem bi wonsa ne nsem no na epam voters ema obi nso wo honorable Ken no why no ho say o Dr. Brian no wo hye campaign mu afi na obie na no kan sem bi afi no na wo candidate no na how hanu mumu na ye free bibi ultimate responsibility so at the end of the day no offer ye wo candidate no wo anim ene beba sabi bi kura basika na wo na wo yi ne kase inti ubi omo ana omo enam no so no friends say Yona omo nam omo wakudu ni mu no omo hu say da bi say ye mu bi aye say nti antwe ntonton we bebo no ye yi wato atwene eto da oso omo ye bold no omo yi members ni bi to twene. Okay, so bi ho campaign hu ne what transfers ne niema bi na ya we so tim sa akwa we
wesa nwe
me say a strategy obi timi to obi no wo camp o strategize na o sori na adwena mo bopo a wonie eyo say wo wafa enso no ye end eno na etoda wo hwe say de na Dr. Free kan camps no dodo na mfan say the me ahwa me kwaka say leading for now obi nim de leading but utifi na wo hwe ya wonim say omayi akoye tefra hwe ase anya ha ebe ha and wa ubehu say omumienu no na omo supporters no aha na me wo say omutimi show leadership say obi to ho ke kan sembi na nko aba abonten na wa me hu say nsem na okeka no ankoyie emfata na nka watwi nanim wo ye delegate na wo ho asa nipa na nka wo say hu say yes ampa enipa we deserve say me de ma aba ema no ebio eye delegates na nkasa I think say futu we president ko for dia ma mo fa nka beboa mo pe flag bearer and answer mo pe presidential candidate obe win election amamo enti e was mo hwe candidate beyond NPP no because yenim say krom ha political parties imienu yi omo nyina omo base no core members no e win election 50+1 enye yie enti wo hia floating voters ebi nyini se floating voters wo ba ebi de but wo hia enti ofa mesusu say delegates no enhwe say candidates nyina hwan na yekoton no magana fo a omobeto enti monhwe beyond NPP no as a party. Dr. Free call other angle say obi obetimi manage Ghana in the end no
yeah na omo ye promise na omo dwen sa ade no say de ye penu ni na say hwan na Ghana for de ne koma wo
mo this should be the basic consideration omo dwen me nyini say delegates mentimi nka say omo nyina but dodo na eye ni oba ye ni na ne envelope so ne wache wo party ni mu eye ne oba obema mi bibi adi eno asa na omo hwe o but omo nhwe beyond 31st January no say wo wi a wo beton na magana for na so Ghana for beto and they also omo ye these calculations ni nyina for me angles no ayemienu no ayemiensa campaign yinipa and meka say ne miensa nyina to asomu mame group ba ko say NPP mu no a free aside Professor Dubois he call ba ko a NPP drop in 96 no president ko for the boss mienu ansa na eyeye na nado danko akufo the boss 2008 at the boss 2012 2016 na eyeye enti Dr. Baumia wodi aboso baako aden na momma no akwanya no wamfa moso biem group baako se da bi president kofo ko ye na ye man akwanya ma ne ko biem na eyedi entia na efri se 92 de Professor Dubois hinya ye no oba ye no de bi beka ho enti ehu improvement enti ye ne na osefata se ye man akwanya no because ehu se wo ye ade na ye man akwanya no se ehu nsunsanso ebi nso say yes ana na nado danko akufado de no so ye 2008 obi beka say ka ketwe bi wo share from second round olidi first round second round ekosi 10 ye to abani wie na President Mills de just about 40,000 votes ana na etwa na nado danko akufado abaye president enti wetumi aka say no ene papa no abo no homoden 2012 ye nyina ye hu ye presidential election petition ye hu ne ekosi ye even ni nyina echi no say eh ene papa no wa ya ade 2016 or the boss wa na eye ma no enti other group no say President and as a former president, former vice president Mahmoud Bawumia, be at the Nanado Dankweja Hono, when to me a maintaini, or better so, into other group on his Adena, Mondro Peno, and also Tasumu. And to him, Miria, or more Cassa Ubia by a mana quenya, into Moma Doctor Bawumia Quenya no Tasumu, or Monso Mocasa Debi, ne performance no as against the previous performance of NPP no. And then no ACPI into the third group, and so say, I don't know, I say 2 leading candidates, you know. As one time, no, acquire when way to my way, into any amount of my unifiers, Motomamia, make a way anyway, a boom. NPP victory by a dear, cell group on Sushiawa, or Monsam no more can say a Tasumu. Majority say, oh, yet this campaigner, Enka Enya Bonnet. Nekwayesa tribal, religious, and a wine, and a wine, and a economy, and a went to me and you say, and a way now walk away, and a disay by ye. Echna, utu we are. Say Nipana, one casana obertona mameno, and now say, and yes, social media doesn't forget. Into we are Kessben TV, Kessben FM, Bebwatcher. Now, if it will be some say, eh, into me and Rameka, we know. For me, offer, make us say NPP4 or Monshe, and Penning4, a new or muti or party, or more council of elders, or more patrons, or more wine. I think some more money, Mahus or Matekis president, former president Nanado Afre Womo, Binso or more president Kofonso Afre Womo. So, Moya Suti no mutia, and Kaye. But so Muntia delegates no, Mona 2 min no more. Me sometimes ye tour ba me sana de bia meka me nhyɛ dan tour ba ma obi sɛ ye tour ba sometimes tour ba de punish obi enti mo hwɛ sɛ we mu say na we mu camp ya na mo tour ba na punish wo mo sɛ animguase amudi gu ye party no mo ma party a wo say hwɛ parliament hwɛ ne ato sɛ nya mo MPC na bia yere wo mo ho mutimi ma party na gina hwɛ leadership e say chairman way e say vice way wine way NPP party nankasa no enti when your opportunity say mo de behye ayi leaders na say mo de ye ayi to na we kan we twi ya ofa menyi ni say ebeboa omumu bia attacks no omo slow down kakra mo kan issues
meaning say e be say nya brand say share bi wan san no mato abai so I won't push you to the wall for now. But no campaign for about 3 weeks later. We got just about 10 minutes. You see, the ruling party so your Mahama pay a constitution for now. Untimi nkubio. The NDC so seems to be in some crisis, leadership crisis. Bia ebinum hu sebeba. Iti ebinum jidi sedebi. Yes, Mama nko baako. Ni bianka ya yeti. So with my ya this amendment of the constitution referendum ni ade biba. And the Binsu say, Mahama, so ye champion so and sanko tema. A block binum, see Adwenkyere be obedi, where the voter cocosa. If he said Jerry Rollins is free so 2000 after 2000 election, you know, vote ni bia mayor running mate and as a vice president crowder. It almost so no, we are monkey can say, John Mahama could be say a can from Ashanti Eastern Bro Central Bibe flag bearer. Likely say the running mate be to make Volta or the North. How do do so a praise vice president? Say, Pastor bit me a command for who say, on also running mate di. Uti Volta Cocosona, man for say Senator Rollins and some Kuyuta Black Quamo, say be bia, see Adwenkyere los de Bramubia, Umubacos with me a banty. 50 creators more and more Casamu sycophants. Dientina. Mahama Teswa bien him say constitution 2 terms. Now more than we China Adwenkyere so Kebiniade. That's my free. Almost the no we say that I no fair, but him say what do you have to say? Sound.
Hey, sure. A better fire for fire.
A better MP before the.
Oh, a better MP before the. Because say no, they are all no. President Mama Yako. And also be a plenty. It said the analysis now making you know those the account and also the airways and also the north. Because north for NDB. I was a koha. Enti the assertion say was a party no ubi abe pribi no, and I'm telling you say the party itself now almost so system. The BMG party has been monopolized. Inti so almost so man careful no man manage what they have now. It will be more serious than what the MPP is going through. But Muhammad, when you can say Uncle Bill, and the man 50 quid because someone will teach you. We are saying, Uncle Fu di wachi, yodium, no more jam, no more could always inquire. Papa na Musa was Uncle Bill. Constitution crosses on my home. Mupasa moya na mo for my own selfish interest. And it from sycophants, sycophant. Enko yo se ko yi. Oh, obetimi akọ se ko sa no mu pia de ko. Let President Mahama end in his good terms and end well. Na onko. And they should not also forget say President Mahama success anybody determine whether you're bebano.
Exactly.
And Tina was very, very disappointed. Said the chief of staff is getting involved in early campaigning. Or even though you're official, but say jogging in a campaign because we'll be suiting me for baby. We'll be suiting me thank you to.
Thank you to.
So, and to about the end of the year, so my managing a year, they never end. And me say also munina focus on the success of. Because if I to force a issue, Honorable Chairman Adwenkyere Udim Julius Debra Beba Haruna will also come. One why say or can say and vice. Mamma no one or open baby akotana. Oh, one she won't come. Even some me men or dear, but we'll share the trajectory say on the President Mahama and by over the age wise a year. I don't think that they have to push the woman to go in for presidential because it's not an easy thing. I'll be called where vice president will be called round the way anyway. Health wise is an issue, age wise is an issue. Until me jidi say one the NB president Mama jidi say one will be the scene for fresh people to come in. And no was some manage you who because it will be a yes our group camp seminal. Enkwaha. Because we say we move for the baby, we move on kwaha, we move on kwaha. That would be what the campaign issue will be. But on back to President Mahama issue, the success in Nato and no be focusing on the camps in the group. And no one here, if the MPP also manage themselves very well, no be united, then they can win the 2020. If these things happens. Economics one can say all things being equal. So, idea be say, but I like the leadership of the NDC. I always say that they are strong. When they say they are strong, they can control because what Fifi Kwete at the buy, and you'll be anything because that's how in Canada time and MPP leadership party for it to be bold. To make some of these strong statements, say, I don't think that they could have ended this way.
Okay. A lot of time, no musuru.
And I'm who bound up. Yes. And that is what I always say that the NDC party leadership is stronger than the MPP. When Chairman Adwenkyere speaks, Okoye Bibi Oko thank you to be Kanya or MP. Wow, friend. So he has the control over the party. And yes, I know and look at Fifi Kwete. And the NDC, the MPP failed the election, match one-on-one with their party executives. No more failure that. Because so much party chairman Adwenkyere with MPP down, secretary down, organizer my own man Yami down. You see, they had an experienced people. People who have been in politics, people who know their party, and people who can fight for the party. I'm not saying they are not. But who share that personality one by one, and you realize the MPP was not strong as a party because MPP in Crawford woman say when you will be the name or what cloud to be and also what certain personalities to speak boldly to the president, like what they said Adwenkyere is doing. Then the party will be in disarray. All these sebi ntokwane ntemo mkaka ni nyina no. Uji say ka party chairman strong. And a party secretary so about that kind of cloud now. Can will this happen? No. They will call them and even sometimes they discipline them. So I believe that say NDC for me a base or more party structure and leadership way. No more to me President Mahama to me achieve the agenda now. It will be easier for anyone that will come. If not,
okay.
All that be done.
That's one of us. You mami.
Ofa. Ti atnen say na minim. Na no bi wadaro ma mama ya kwenya me kan biu say minim reasoner na obi begina so aka say President Mahama onko third term ye mienu pe one either say NDC na ewo ho no obi anim utwa wani ento obi anim nti obi antumi President Mahama ni ho a obi ani NDC mu biemu a obetimi LED party no agitumi ama party sa ne de e say kwan bia so so faso na papa no esan akobiem. Number 2 say ebia papa na di djuma son say chese djuma wadi wo Ghana ha ne de so bi ni ho enti President Kufuor, President Rollins ni djuma obedi ye nyina oko 2 term, President Kufuor di obeye ye nyina oko 2 term, Nanado Dankwa ni oye nyina 2 terms. Wo se there be President Mahama ye bi chen wo mu nyina wo te say ni o ye no de yes ebro so aka say oh ene ye mpre no nko bi nka ho. But NDC no, and the 2 issues here are raising. Say that any penny NDC ni penny, any power. President Mahama, why yet the Bruce were being Sidana, Debbie. Ebi obeye, but for now, 1 year near Yehuno, and Moroso. Enti mi hunie, ne e wase obi, e babonten na wonko biem no, beko biem. But at a point, Papa na babonten se Debbie. Onko biem. Me ano de nenye enough, mammy. Because and say with me China go African continent no enti but near omo general secretary Fifi Kwete I think say Dr. Freya kind me support say it was a strong statement no nkwampo chairman say dunketia and say who share the meaning of the word sycophancy I say na effete because I say who ye yodium I say who can be biaji favor edu asare okotena hwan okokan ye A+ any anye obi say majority leader na eye premature enti for me no general secretary ne ya de say wo hit ye minim say ebi ani anye na no mo organizer I'm say deputy organizer Bandy na I'm say na wonye happy any some others say be cry be munye happy or more express here but for me make I say that bold statement no a sycophancy say president awaba on twafe at a time no on twafe now ka say obesan akobiem na ehu hia for now no make I say asoman no president no focus on na memuo no ebi kura bedru ho no na enye NDC fo na ekole se wonko biem na ekwa akoye Ghana fo se waye bibi e bro so enti Ghana fo se san akobiem but for now ne de menyi ni se ye dru ho ana se bibi sronko bia si a fata se obesan akobiem enti papa no general secretary no ofa make I say it was a strong and bold statement o make here menyi ni se conversation no I was a sign visit beam, yen killing no, ye end no, na or more booman in focus, no more teaching so share, say bibia beko ye no so, enko ye ni na the end of the day no, right, and no, not yes, she knew be to do better na so, no be to debbie, fashion right. Eva shimro bi osa for ye bre no ye be ha na ye de dwumedie no enso si doc
Uncle PV Jantua. Also here life.
Okay.
And teacher mama wife.
So always get your high life account. I learned that from Uncle PV Jantua.
And tomato the anation sika wontaban. And I'm a kind of where you me deposit and tomato your friends and Mrs. my catch high life account.
What's so high life account? Why petrol? No, you'll be wow, Mawani. Uncle PV Jantua anyway. What a Dr. Samuel Free or lecturer Kumasi Technical University, Dr. Barabas Adeaman for LC lecturer Ewo Amstead. Was still the name is Amstead. Malam Yahana Obo Sibiano, Mede Kofi Appiah channel pap, and in share matching with this so na yen toso emamo yakramo. Bye bye.